maybe, just maybe, I don't know, maybe somebody begin to listen, but I don't have any hope. I have little hope, if any at all, nowadays, considering if you have not made any moves and you haven't been listening all these years, what makes you think you're going to pay attention and listen to someone who is actually wise and light years ahead of what the system has been doing? I pretty much almost every single year have called and told you exactly what's going to happen and take place, but many of you have already drinking of the Kool-Aid of apathy, and you have drinking from the cistern of complacency, and now you gotten to the point where you love it. You know, it's amazing that when you can see a decline taking place in society, and it still causes you to do nothing about it, nothing at all, not even to the point that where you can even look out at your loved ones and it doesn't even come up into your mind. A signal or a beacon, a warning doesn't even go off to tell you that there's something definitely wrong. Man, they've been blowing up my emails and blowing up my message and talking about silver. Pastor Dow, we gonna give us a silver update. Why? I mean, if you want a silver update, go back and listen to all my silver videos that I've done 4 and 5 years ago, 2-3 years ago. Go look at them. I've already said everything that needed to be said. You think about this. The Dow was somewhere along about 8,000-9,000 during the collapse in 2008. And we were, at that time, I think $7-8 trillion in debt, something like that. Now we're $20 trillion in debt, and the dollar's sitting at 18,000. Oh man, you don't know what market manipulation is. You don't know what's going on. I tell you what, the other day I just got some news that Germany has just put out an edict. I remember really. At least they care a little bit about their citizens, because here in America, American policy is this: if there's a disaster that's going to take place, we're not going to inform the American public, because we don't want widespread panic. In other words, your ass going to be in the sling if something takes place, especially if you ain't prepared, because you ain't going to depend on the federal government to tell you or warn you about anything. Germany told their people to go out and start stockpiling food to the point that every household has 10 days worth of food supply. Now, 10 days worth of food supply ain't nothing. You know the reason why? Even 6 months food supply ain't worth. You know what? You can, and I want you to listen to me very closely. You can actually go out here and prepare, and you can actually store up foods of 6 months, year, 2 years, 3 years. But if you don't change this mind right here, that food storage will go so fast, especially in a grid down situation when all the modern day conveniences are not occupying your time anymore. You'll sit back and eat like on a fat cat. And because you haven't changed his mind, your food supply is going to be gone. And then what? You haven't prepared yourself to do any survival. You ain't got time for it. You don't know how to set up a tent. Don't know how to hunt. Wouldn't know how to wouldn't even know how to hunt a deer. Shoot it. Field dress it. Prepare it properly to be even eaten. Don't know how to fish. You have not invested in yourself, learning skills. Don't even know how to start a fire. And we think we're going to be ready for this upcoming economic collapse. No, I'm not getting on you. What I'm trying to do is stimulate thought, because lethargic spirits, lethargic people, it's an epidemic in this country because we become so dependent upon the system. We become so dependent on thinking that everything is always going to be at our fingertips. I haven't lived like that. I ain't going to live like that either. See, if you don't have the discipline to be able to eat one meal a day, your food supply don't mean nothing. And then only that, do you even have the security to be able to guard the food? Because ultimately, when you're dealing with a whole bunch of human beings, somebody is going to transgress your laws, the laws that you make on the land. Somebody's going to do it. And then are you prepared to pass judgment and enforce judgment from there? There is much to be desired. and a lot to be considered in the days coming forward. People mocked me and jeered me, derided me and chided me about silver going up and down. I told you when it was going up. I even told you when it's going down. And I told you it's going to stay down for quite a long time. And when it's getting ready to start really, truly hitting up, I'll tell you again. But that doesn't mean it's going to do anything, because we in this country, our mind is something else. We want to wait till silver gets $30 and $40 before we want to break the bank. We want to back up the truck and load the boat and then go buy it. But when it's on cheap, we don't buy it. We don't think we don't need it. You're going to need it for bartering. You look at Venezuela. Look at that wicked economy over there. You know what still holds value though? Gold and silver. Still. Zimbabwe, gold, silver. The Weimar Republic, gold, silver. What's been money for 5,000 years? Gold, silver. Man, they have fiat currency deceived you to such a level that even now you believe it's money, when all it is just an accepted form of exchange. It's just a medium of exchange to be able to buy and purchase for you goods and service. But when you have a bunch of Federal Reserve notes, trees, chasing very little minimum goods and service, what do you think is going to happen? What do you really truly think is going to? I know we have this dissidence that's taking place in us, and I'm telling you, it's amazing. No, I'm not. I can't. What's okay? Buy silver. I gave you. They ain't no need of me going in all this theater, talking to you about the markets, talking to you about what Jim Sinclair says, what Roger says, what CNBC says, what the prices are, and all this. I've already told you everything. And if you can't get it by now, you are not going to get it. Do you understand? People who are wise always put action behind their life and what they're doing. You know how I know, or do you know? Do you know how you know that Pastor Dow believes what he says? Is because you see me doing it. In other words, you see me producing fruit. You don't hear me just running my mouth. There's a lot of people on here that just running their mouth. You don't never get to see their lifestyle, see what they're doing, but they're running it, and they got your attention too. They got it. But with me, I guess the condemnation is that, that's where the envy and jealousy come, because, I've been sitting up here, I've been preparing for 20 years. 20 years. I know who my neighbors are. I know exactly who my neighbors are. I see them every morning on the little community that I built. Man, we have a relative quiet and peaceful life, but guess what? We're not depending on our life staying quiet and peaceful, because you know the reason why? We have to be ready to defend our life and our lifestyle. And in order to keep people of an alternate conscience out and to keep them away from bringing a bad spirit to cause some type of insurrection or to try to influence change amongst what we have found peace and contentment. We follow the law. We harm no one. We live quiet and peaceful lives. We work hard, do what we need to do, and we stay at the ready. Just the other day, I was looking at taking a surveillance of the people at Straightway, and I said, overall, it's pretty good when you think that you got people from 77 years old all the way down to 7-8 months old, and not a one of us on this community is on any prescription drugs. Who else can say that? Not a one of us is under any doctor's care. 77 years old. We have people in their 70s. We have them in their 50s. Quickly approaching 60s. We got them in their 40s and their 30s, their 20s and teens, and all the way down to the bottom. And nobody is not even on an aspirin. Do you think we know something? Do you really? I think we know something. Every time we sit down to eat, I thought about it the other day. Every time we sit down to eat, I said, man, 80% of the food that we eat we actually raise, grow, and produce here on this land. And then I thought to myself, man, no wonder we're not as sick like the people in the world. And you'd be hard pressed if you find a Coke on this land. You may find one or two somewhere, but it's probably sitting in a storage room somewhere. I don't know, but I tell you, you can actually live a quiet and peaceable life where you can learn discipline, where you can learn how to control yourself. What a beautiful thing it is. We have fellowship, no crime going on in the camp, none whatsoever. Sin is not practiced or allowed on these grounds. And if you're warned and if you're a transgressor, you won't be part of us too long at all. Do you people have that kind of honor and integrity? Because you know how natural family is. Natural family thinks simply because they exist and they're part of you, they're part of the bloodline, that they have an entitlement mentality that you owe them. I don't owe them nothing. I don't owe natural family nothing. And they owe me nothing. I am entitled to nothing. And that's the type of mentality you all need to get, because you see, when you get to the point to where you are a liability, you get to the point to where you don't even keep yourself from being a burden, we don't need you. Don't need you at all. Every individual has to work at not being a burden to the next person or individual on our land. We work hard at it. And we love our people greatly. I know I started off with silver. I got a lot of digressions in here. I guess I wanted to just speak from the heart. Yeah, I've been talking about the elections and been talking about what these people say to only bring attention to what's really truly going on. Some of them are talking about the real issues. Don't worry about all the theater and the mudslinging. That's all going to take place and stuff like that. I guess it's good for a comic review, National Lampoon. But I tell you what, you have to start really truly investing in yourself and doing wisely. And as long as you love blue pill, and as long as you love the state that you in, there's nothing that nobody can do. No amount of words that can be said, no ministry, no hollering, no screaming, no shouting, no catastrophe, no natural disaster, no nothing is going to move you to change your position. There has to be something that personally has to take place in you. And once that decision is made, you cross over, your life will reflect and show what you believe. And just the truth. So do I still buy silver? Yes. Do I even people give me silver? Sure they do. Some people are appreciative that they've actually taken my advice and they have positioned themselves very, very well. I need to ask a question and end this video on this. The federal government always acts like that they're interested in us and that they want to help. In a world without rule of law or an EMP or a natural disaster or something to take place, do you really truly believe that federal funds and federal aid is going to be there for you? Let me tell you something. Federal funds and federal aids are only for the bankers. You ain't getting no bailouts. We have all but impoverished the generation that's come behind us through all this debt that is going on. They go out here and they've been sold a lie. I told people, I know it was 8 years ago, I said, y'all wasting your money, don't go to school. There ain't going to be no jobs there. You know how many people have done graduated from school and work in service sector jobs just in order to make ends meet? Oh well. He that have ears to hear, let him hear. I'm gone.